Hi.
What does a People's Bank look like to you?
I absolutely have no idea. The only thing I can think about is some kind of cooperative bank, or potentially something similar to the way that Bitcoin runs, where there's a governing body, but it's made up of the people. But I might be wrong.
Yeah, and if you were to design a People's Bank, what would it look like? Who would it help?
It would be less for profit, more for supporting the people that are investing their money. So anybody that puts money in, that can be used to support other people, but not shareholders, I suppose. So like the kind of micro banks in India and places like that. I mean, I think they're a really good kind of, I don't know, way of organising money. You know, I mean, I'm quite interested in Islamic attitude towards that, because you're not meant to make profit, are you? Is that right?
You're not meant to. So
yes. So, I mean, I think the whole idea of making money just make profit for other people. It should be about supporting people to create better lives for themselves. That's what I think.
And if you were to create a strap line for this People's Bank, what would you have? What would you call it? What would you say? So our name's Just Lend. So
Just Lend.
But
okay.
What would be your strap line?
So something about the words fairer, transparent. I have to ask you, so you're about lending money to people that need it. So are you going to be charging them interest, or how are you going to fund the structure of the bank, the people who work there, the people that process those funds?
So when it comes to the loans,
Yes.
we would not take any interest. So the borrower would set the terms and conditions of the loan. So the borrower would say, I need £1,000, and I'm happy to set the interest rate at 0%, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5%. They can't go up to any higher. So it's capped. That stops loan sharks, that stops high interest short-term schemes. And so that's what we're trying to do when it comes to building out that side of things. We would charge, like the charity world does, like a 5% fee. So when you give a charity website, part of that goes to funding the platform and the architecture. And so that's where we'd do our charge.
So in effect, 5% of the £1,000. So you're looking at that would play into that lending fee. So the minimum would be 5%, and then anything on top in order to create an incentive for me to lend them £1,000
would go to you as the
would
lender.
be like 2%, 1%, 5%.
So the borrower would set it, and then they share it with you, the lender, and you would then agree to the interest rate that they set, and so you would then get that interest rate back. And I think that's how you create.
So we're kind of looking at a maximum of 10% in effect, which is very different to credit cards, which are now, 39%, I don't know. Okay.
That's exactly it. So, and if you were to go on Dragon's Den and pitch this idea, how would you do it? What would you say?
I feel that I've heard this idea before, and does it exist already?
It doesn't. I mean, I have recently built it.
Yeah.
It hasn't existed before that.
What about the charity, like the ones that are in India and Africa, these kind of micro banks?
So in Bangladesh and in Pakistan, in a few different areas. Yes, in third world countries, this is quite a common idea now. Yeah. It's actually already it's in America as well, but here in the UK, we're one of the first to do it.
So, question: if I'm giving a borrower £1,000 and they refuse or can't pay it back, where are my guarantees? Do you have a slush fund to safeguard the lender?
So when it comes to it, what we would do is that you would have contracts in place. So then from those contracts, you would then be able to take it to small claims court if you wanted to really enforce it. But you're obviously there to help the person with their need, right?
Yeah.
Because you're helping a family member or a friend or somebody in your local community. But you could take a course of action if you wanted.
What's the maximum amount that you could borrow?
So at the moment on it was like 10 grand, but we see the loans being much smaller, like 3 grand.
Okay, yeah, to just get you out of an initial hotspot.
Yeah, so it could be anything, that you're a refugee and you want to start a business and it's kind of that initial capital.
Yeah.
Or you're, you've got a boiler that you need to fix, or IVF treatment. It's really human stories and funding human stories.
So who is the gatekeeper? In other words, someone might come to you with an idea that perhaps is not very practical, how would the bank decide,
So-
on its viability?
So it's the people. So, for example, you're the ones that would choose if you're going to fund something or not, right? So if you don't think, if the risk is too risky or the cause is not sufficient in your opinion, then you don't have to put your money in it. So
So
in the future, maybe
lender-
you'd put a fund together and you'd fund projects via a postcode, maybe. So like you'd say, look, I live in this area and I want to support all the people in need in this area, and I want to support all the people that want to build big businesses or businesses in my local area. So I want to put money into the bank to fund those projects. But right now, the gatekeeper would be the likes of yourselves.
Okay, interesting.
All right.
Yeah. And
Okay,
yeah,
that's
I
positive.
said about, so if you were to go on Dragon's Den, how would you pitch it?
Well, that's a
You
hard
want
one
the
without
strap line,
thinking about
really.
it.
Yeah.
Sort of a people's bank for the people, controlled by the people. The judiciary is the people. So actually, if I lend money, I'm not going through a middleman. I'm going direct to the person who's going to benefit from that, and that gives me a feel-good factor.
Or next week we're on Dragon's Den, so
Oh, okay.
Are you
Great
really?
stuff.
Oh, well done.
So when is that? What are you called?
just
Are you
Lens.
Just Lens.
are you being filmed next week, or are you actually on the
it.
TV next
Yeah.
week?
It's on it.
So sorry. Are you pitching on it next week to be shown on telly later? Or
I
you-
can go off that and I can share.